Good afternoon. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, I welcome you all and welcome His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, to the University of Delhi. This university and all of us are truly blessed to have him amongst our presence. Maybe some of you know that His Holiness is not just a Nobel laureate, but also honorary professor of the University of Delhi. So he is very much one of us. Often he jokingly tells us he doesn't like the honorary bit of the honorary professor. His Holiness, of course, needs no introduction. Of course, he just recently retired from his official duties as the head of the Tibetan state to gracefully make way for young Tibet. But he's also the most towering spiritual figure of the times that we live in. What makes him extraordinary is the openness of mind that he displays. Some of you are aware that for the last 30 years, every year, he has engaged with scientists, quantum physicists, neurobiologists, psychologists, psychiatrists, as part of the Mind and Life conferences that he holds every year, often at Dharamshala, occasionally in other places. And indeed, he has promised that next year, when the Mind and Life Conference takes place, a part of it will take place in the University of Delhi. His Holiness is not just a religious figure. He makes a distinction between religion and being a good, warm-hearted human being. His latest book, called Secular Ethics, Ethics for All, Secular Ethics. And the back cover of the book declares that while this book does not contradict any religion, what it says applies to all those who believe and those who do not believe. It simply relies on warm-heartedness. Of course, His Holiness has written numerous other books, has won numerous accolades, but it is his childlike simplicity and his genuine affection, which above everything has won the hearts of millions of people. Today, he'll be delivering the university lecture on ethics, educating the mind and the heart. This university spends, rightly, a lot of time on educating the mind. So it trains us in our own chosen fields, maybe economics, or commerce, or physics, or biology, or zoology, to become an expert in that field by acquiring knowledge, and thereby to earn a living. But educating the heart, what do you do with the money that you earn? What is life all about? What will we do after we've earned a living? How do we live? Educating the heart. That part this university and most universities in India, as well as schools, have tended to neglect. After India became independent, especially after the unfortunate partition and the bloody partition we had, we decided in our wisdom to keep religion away from schools and universities. It was a private affair, lest we offend anybody. Were we to teach the Gita or the Quran in schools or colleges or universities, it might affect somebody else's sensibilities. It might incite controversy. But the unfortunate aspect of that simply was that ethics, which traditionally had depended on a religious background, the discussion of ethics also disappeared from our schools and university systems. We don't talk about the value of ethics, what ethics, changing ethics. We simply don't talk about it. So, we need a Lokpal bill to curb corruption. So, last week the headlines of the Times of India carried the unfortunate news that 4 of Delhi University students died in a car crash because intoxicated by high levels of alcohol. They were driving at very fast speeds in order to get a thrill, in order to be happy. To put ethics back into the university system, we have invited His Holiness for this lecture. This morning we had a dialogue in a smaller group, and we are hoping, with his blessings, we'll be starting a pilot course in 10 of our colleges coming July, called Reflecting on Environment, Society and Individual. Reflecting on Environment, Society and Individual, an experiential program where my students and teachers will discuss things of concern to them about life, about living, about ethics. And His Holiness has given us some guidance, and we hope to continue to receive ongoing guidance from him. So without holding him back any further, I now invite His Holiness to deliver the university lecture. His Holiness, the Dalai Lama.
Dear, I think, young and old brothers, sisters. Indeed, I'm very happy once more in this hall. There are a lot of students and perhaps some teachers and professors. So indeed, great honor. As you already explained, my main commitment is a promotion of human value. And the second, my commitment is promotion of religious harmony. These two things are very much sort of India's tradition. I think the very concept of ahimsa, nonviolence, so I think respect life, respect existence. Every phenomena, every sort of thing which have life, it has right. to exist. So harming their life, harming their existence is violence. Some kind of disturb their right. So restrain harming them. That's non-violence. Non-violence out of fear. There's big sort of power, and you cannot sort of match and remain passive. That's not non-violence. Non-violence, there is sort of opportunity to fight or to carry some kind of violent way, but deliberately restrain using violence. That is non-violence. So non-violence is very much related with mental level, respect others' right. So, mental level, the seed of non-violence is sense of concern of others' well-being, compassion. Compassion translates into action, that's non-violence. So, it is not sufficient simply, we must follow non-violence, without knowing the whole sort of system. Every human action, whether become violent or non-violent, is ultimately related with warm-heartedness. Not depend on intelligence alone. Intelligence also sometimes become very violent. Then religious harmony. With that concept, non-violent concept, the tolerance, different philosophical views, respect. In philosophical field, yes, plenty of points which we can argue, we can debate, but that's a different matter. But these different views also, you see, created by human being. Very sort of great thinkers, they create these different sort of views. And they have their right to express their own view. And then, particularly, all these different philosophical views actually meant for benefit to humanity. So last 1,000 years, all these different major spiritual traditions really brought immense benefit to humanity. So we have sufficient reasons to respect. So with respect, or mutual respect, and mutual understanding, and in fact, mutual learning, through that way, we can develop genuine harmony among different religious traditions. So these two things is my commitment. And the political responsibility, as you mentioned, last year, I already sort of resigned. And that not only me personally resigned, but also almost 4 centuries tradition of Tibet, the Dalai Lama institution alone automatically become head of political leadership and, spiritual leadership. That now 14th Dalai Lama, actually first Dalai Lama, second Dalai Lama, third Dalai Lama, fourth Dalai Lama, purely spiritual leader, no political power. The fifth Dalai Lama, then the circumstances are such among high lamas, little competition for political power. I think fifth Dalai Lama, I think overall, I think he really done good thing, unified many sort of, many part of Tibet. And meantime, he himself used to follow non-sectarian sort of policy. And good. Of course, some critics also there. So, the 14th Dalai Lama voluntarily, happily, proudly ended that tradition. So, one was my secret. The last year, I formally sort of announced that decision. That night, very unusual sleep. No dream, very sound sleep. That's one indication. I relieved some kind of the sense of heavy responsibility. Like that, I really voluntarily, happily changed that. Initially, some Tibetan, a little bit sort of uncomfortable, outside as well as inside. Then, number of occasions I explain reasons, logics. Then eventually they understand. So like that. So now only two commitments: promotion of human value, promotion of religious harmony. So just lunchtime, one I think concerns or was the leaders here, they express they want more time here, some discussion. And I responded in any way within India. So when I visit different places, the expenditure made by Indian government. So you simply send me one paper, invite me, then I will come. So actually, our work, something we more or less we fully committed. That is something quite serious sort of work, and potentially changing of the world. I always is telling people, 20th century, marvelous century. I think whole human history, most important century. But unfortunately, in spite of many positive development, but that century overall become century of violence, century of bloodshed. Even nuclear weapon used on human being in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I had opportunity to visit Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And my previous visit to Hiroshima, I actually met some victims of nuclear bomb. Very sad. The effect remained several years. Not only the immense destruction at once, but effect remained a long time. So in any way, according historian, the 20th century, the number of people who killed through violence, through war, 200 millions, including civil war. So I often telling, the beginning of this 21st century, little unhappy sort of events happen here and there. All these due to negligence or mistake about past centuries. I think any sensible person, I do not want this 21st century, again century of violence. Nobody get benefit. And most cases, innocent people suffer most. Some time ago, I expressed, or scientists, and also the technology, if find a bullet, not sort of hitting ordinary people, but the real troublemaker person, bullet used to go. And like him, the troublemaker, sit comfortable, the bullet goes. Then I think good. The ordinary people won't suffer. But that's not the case. Look, Syria, and recent event in North Africa, and many places. Once the violence starts, the innocent people, women, children, suffer. And also immense negative effect on environment issue. And also, I think, produce weapon. Only purpose is kill. Without use these weapons, not killing, then wasted billions of money. So economically also, and those big factories which produce these weapons are actually wasting of money. Often I express, before 1950, whole, I think, 1,000 long was the border, very peaceful. Eventually, situation changed. So Indian government, and from taxpayer survey, Indian public, I think billions of rupees have to spend for defense in this long border, difficult area. If you utilize this amount of money for hospital, school, I think many rural area, can progress. As well as China also. Last year and also this year, the budget about internal security is bigger than defense budget. Quite shameful, isn't it? That means internal enemy is bigger than external enemy. If internal enemy just handful, then no need such sort of expenses of preparation. So, all these, I think the political thinking, or ways and means to solve the problems, the totalitarian regimes. I think the Chinese communists, they still believe power comes from barrel of gun. That very statement of Chairman Mao is short-sighted. During revolution, or civil war, or war with Japanese, yes, power of gun is very important. That certain period, short period. Now over 60 years, still carry that kind of policy. It's very narrow-minded, very short-sighted. Lack of knowledge about the human mind, about human nature. So that also, you see, there's too much worship about violence, about force. And the United States, I really respect America, admire America, but Iraq policy, Afghanistan policy, God is good, Motivation is good, but method is violent. So on any violent sort of method, unexpected consequences often happen. So violent method is really unrealistic. Emotional level, you may get some satisfaction, but actual reality, wrong method. So now this 21st century should be century of peace, century of non-violence. That does not mean this 21st century will not be any problems. No. Problems still remain. I think the natural resources or some other reasons, and also population increasing. So I think problem even may increase. So then how to develop peaceful century? Whenever we face some problems, we must find ways and means, non-violent way. That's a dialogue. I think we, human beings, generally, whenever we face some disagreement or some problems, our first response from our mind, our emotion, how to solve this by force. That's a mistake. So now, in order to develop peaceful century, it's very much related with a century of compassion, as I mentioned earlier, non-violence, ultimately related with compassionate mind. So, our attitude, I think something, not up to date sort of or civilized sort of thinking, as I mentioned earlier, whenever I face problem, even family level, often relying show force. So now, in order to change that, not religious faith, not United Nations declaration, or national level, some kind of different sort of a resolution. No. Each individual. Now, at present, even among the religious leaders, there are unhealthy persons there. So, dirty politics, dirty religion, so dirty economies there. Like that. Too much exploitation. And corruptions. And the gap, rich and poor, increasing. It is quite shameful. This country, comparatively religious-minded nation, but many of them, no hesitation involve corruption. Those people who officially deny any religious sort of value, it's understandable. But nation who really believe what you call God or Shivaji like that, I think, frankly speaking, many corrupted people, I think including some sort of influential sort of people, in their home, morning they may worship Ganesh or Shivaji, like that. Then their real daily life, no hesitation, corruptions, and bully other, cheating other. Do you think these people are religious-minded? You should say yes and no. These people who no hesitation about doing corruptions or injustice Are these people religious minded or no? So now, through resolution, through order, we cannot change this. We cannot blame these people. They grown up a society where moral principles are not much not much pay attention. Only religious faith. Religious faith also become instrument of self-centered attitude. One day, many years ago, in Mexico, in Argentina, one interfaith meeting, one top scientist, physicist, I know him, also there. And at the meeting, he mentioned, he, a scientist, physicist, but he should not develop attachment towards his own scientific field. I learned that is really very important. So, I myself, I am Buddhist, but I should not develop attachment towards Buddhism. Once attachment develops, then your sort of attitude, your mental thinking become biased. So biased mind never see the objectively others thing. So many, I think, sincere religious person, too much faith, biased attachment. Attachment comes from self-centered attitude. I'm right. They are not. So therefore, we are now really, our hope is future generation, younger generation. Usually I make distinction. My generation belongs to 20th century. That century gone. These young people, below 30, 20, or 15, you are the generation of 21st century. At this moment, just, the early period, almost the first sort of decade of the 21st century now gone. Remaining 9 decades yet to come, or coming. So, if you make effort with new vision, holistic view, not only thinking your own family, your own nation, but thinking about humanity, global level, I think you can make significant contribution, changing humanity's view. Then, once our basic attitude change positively, more compassionate attitude, respect others' right, respect others' view. Whenever face some problem, try to solve through dialogue. Then we can build peaceful world, peaceful century. So you have I think, very good opportunity. This morning also I mentioned, I often used to telling in America and in also Europe, when I talk to young people, the generation who belongs to the first century, this is the beginning of the century. So you have opportunity to change the world, to build healthy world. I will not see these sort of result But I will watch you, either from hell or from heaven. I will watch you, whether you're implementing these things or not. So it is not sufficient. Just blame or complain. We must make effort to fundamental level change, way of thinking. Not through prayer, not through meditation, not through yoga practice, but through use common sense with fuller awareness about the reality. So recent our meeting with scientists, our team, healthy body, healthy mind. This is quite sort of clear. Even healthy body, healthy mind is very, very relevant. Disturbed mind, impossible to get, to develop healthy body. Everyday tranquilizer, or sometimes drugs. Some is a famous singer or something like that. Millions of people really admire. But when you see the news come, these also you see very much fond drugs. So that means their mental state not very calm. Calmness of mind, relying on pills or drugs or alcohol or just nice music or nice sort of television is a very temporary method. Because real destroyer of calm mind, not external matters, external factor, but within our mind. So unless we realize this destroyer of inner peace and make adequate sort of counterforce, we cannot develop calm mind, peaceful mind. Seeing something nice, hearing some music. So long these sort of seeing nice things to seeing and hearing, so long these remain there, you get some kind of satisfaction. As long as these sort of stop, then no longer. But inner peace, awareness, inner peace or calmness, through within awareness, that peace of mind remain always, including in your dream. So we have the potential. Only thing is whether we know that or not, or whether we utilize this potential. That's the question. So now education, like hygiene or healthy body. From childhood, some physical exercise and some kind of information. So similarly, in order to develop healthy mind through education, through awareness, I think we can develop better awareness. Once human being, with help of intelligence, once knows pros and cons of it, or pros and cons, then of course we will utilize our intelligence, the positive side, voluntarily, not something ordered, but voluntarily. So therefore, the change about our mind, I think change these things through awareness. So this is not through preaching, not through faith, not through sort of prayer, but through awareness about the very nature of mind or emotions. That's through education. I think it's very possible. So make effort to more research work, how to educate humanity from kindergarten up to university level. Not as something sacred thing, but simply education, knowledge. So I think firstly, it is extremely important and helpful to know more about system of the mind or emotions, something like its own map. When we travel to different countries, first we have to know the maps. Here, next sort of stop here, next stop here, then reach final destination. Similarly, fuller knowledge about map of the mind, the destroyer of calm mind, which emotion are destroyer. Once we pinpoint certain sort of the emotions, then we should know how it developed. Any sort of change never come independently. It must come due to its own causes and conditions. So in order to tackle, like illness, tranquilizer or a painkiller is temporary method. We have to sort of deal with the causes of the illness. Pains are symptom. We have to deal with the causes of that pain. Similarly, destroyer of our inner peace. Also, you see some kind of symptoms of previous different sort of emotions. So, the proper way to tackle this destructive emotion, we have to deal with its own causes and the conditions. Therefore, it is highly necessary to know the whole map or the system of the emotion. So information comes from many spiritual texts, including Buddhist texts, and also the Hinduism, also those Hinduism which involve practice of samadhi, practice of vipassana. Naturally, they also explain about mind. So information comes from these. We have to collect information from these, but itself we should consider as a sort of the academic subject. These are universal. I usually call these simply science of mind. So, whether believer or non-believer, come on, hello. And my old friend from Tawang. Hello. Recently, in Bodhgaya, many members come there. I look, that face, not there. So later I inquired, where Kamonjo? Whether sort of illness or something. Then one of my friends told me, Kamonjo, there. But you seems hiding somewhere. So I'm very glad, reunion, our old friend. Once he start the Indo-Tibetan friendship group, Tibetan support group, you start, you organize. Very good one. So in any way, I'm sorry. When give you some sort of serious sort of lecture, I always say, greeting my friend. So my way of talking, completely informal way. I just feel I'm talking one individual, my old friend. That's all. And my talk, no prepared, Not prepared, note or these things. Of course, previous time, yes, note. But these days, no. So therefore, I also become honorary professor of Emory University, like this. So when I got, their announcement, I also there. I told at the public, I feel great honor, become honorary professor, but actually hopeless professor. Because, you see, firstly, I'm quite lazy, and a lot of my own prayers. While I'm saying the effect of prayer is very limited, but I myself, I think at least for 5 hours praying. That also contradiction. Of course, prayers, these, for individual peace of mind, helpful. But society won't help. But through education, through awareness, and mass movement, right? That's important. So, in any way, I have not much time, so therefore, no time for homework. So, professor should be prepared well. Homework. I never, so hopeless professor. So, in any way, what subject? I forget what point I'm related with these things. In any way, now time come to think seriously and research work, how to introduce, as an academic subject, this moral principle from kindergarten up to university level. This morning also I mentioned, and last year when we met, I also mentioned, I think India, your own constitution, secular basis, because of the reality, multi-religious nation, multi-culture. So, secularism is very much fit according to that reality. So now secularism also includes respect non-believers' view, non-believers' right. So secular way, or secular moral principle, through secular education, secular way of education, I think very fit in this country. Some my friends, some Muslims, some Christians, they told me when I speak, when I use the word, the secular ethics or secularism, they a little bit reservation. They have the view. Secularism is something negative towards religions, religious faith. Actually, it is not. According India's secularism means respect all major traditions, all religions. And also according some, my friend, the 1,000-year-old secularism in this country also respect non-believers' right. So it is really wonderful. So I think the conclusion, you already have ahimsa tradition, religious harmonious tradition. Now further promote with reasons, with logics, some kind of education way to promote these things. Then not only people of this country enjoy or are happier, but also India, the most populated democratic country, you can make significant contribution for global level. So, please Kasota, please have more self-confidence and vision. Make effort. Should not be a lazy person like me. Make effort. There's Tibetan saying, 9-time failure, 9-time effort. Even those wrong thing, destructive work, some people really tireless effort. Now why not? We are trying to build healthy world, healthy century. We must make tireless effort. That's very important. So then environment issues, the issue of the gap rich and poor, and exploitations, and I think in this country, caste system really creates a lot of problems for millions of poor people, and dowry. These are, if we develop awareness, global sense of global responsibility, oneness of humanity, religions are secondary. Basically, we are same human being. Every human being has same right, equal basis. Then these negative things automatically reduce. Government order may not work. Constitution already mentioned these things, but effect very limited. So through education. So thank you. That's my talk. Now some questions.
His Holiness has consented to answer some questions. Please speak out your name, where you're from, and keep the question brief. We have a mic. Where is the roving microphone? So who would like to go first? Just can you raise your hands?
I prefer non-political questions.
Non-political questions.
His Holiness, today can you make us do a little short guided meditation?
What?
Can you, today can you make us do a short guided meditation?
Meditation. I don't know. If you are really serious, then follow my pattern. 4 hours, 5 hours meditation. That's too long. Here, basically, in Buddhist sort of practice, Buddhist tradition, 2 kinds of meditation. One, analytical meditation. That's actually you carry in your class. Analyze, experiment, and fully sort of focusing your mind, whole mind. That also one sort of category of meditation. So analytical meditation. That's more effective for me. 4 or 5 hours, my meditation, not just is a close eye, and try to develop some kind of thoughtlessness. I prefer thought is more useful than thoughtlessness. I think through injection, you may achieve thoughtlessness. When I sort of, because I carry surgery by gallbladder few years ago. Kasa, shime set kasa. Shime, ka.
Anesthesia.
Oh, so some kind of thoughtlessness, about I think at least 2 hours thoughtlessness. Complete rest. Of course, through deeper meditation, you may experience certain kind of thoughtlessness due to grosser level of mind dissolve. That is something very special, not easy. So that kind of sort of analytical meditation. Then another single-pointed meditation. That also, in some extent, is when you study a certain subject, you fully concentrate only that subject. Even noise come, not disturb. That also is a way of single-pointed meditation, like that. The Sanskrit word shamatha or Sanskrit samadhi. That's single-pointed meditation. Very, very, this is common. Ancient non-Buddhist sort of tradition and Buddhist tradition. Vipassana, also a kind of analytical meditation, generally common. And samadhi, single-pointed mind meditation, that also common. Like that. So you try to seek some guidance from some experienced sort of gurus. Okay. Next question.
Okay, the lady there, can we pass the microphone to her, please?
With special regard for you. Sir, as you know, all of the religion, is dependent to our area. If I born in Iran, I am Muslim. 80%, 90% I have chance to be Muslim. In India, most of the people are Hindu. In Tibet, the people have other religion. Different country, it's like genetic, we received our religion. It's a question for me, when I am looking to all of the religions say be good human, do thing, do good things, have positive attitude, help the people. All of the religions say same. What is the Buddhist view about the changing religion? And
Sure.
Sorry, the second question is, what is your definition of identity? My identity is my religion, is my name, is my gender, is my age, or is my personality, my attitude, my behavior? What is your idea about identity? Thank you.
That main point.
Your question is, what is His Holiness' opinion about changing religions, right?
What is the opinion about the changing religion when all of the religion says be human?
That's not easy. Religious faith, very much related with emotion. So therefore, it is much safer and better keep your own traditional religions. That's much better. Changing religion, not like fashion, change fashion, not that way. So it is better to keep one's own tradition. Whenever I give some lecture on Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy in the West, I always make clear, it is better to keep your own tradition. I have one sort of funny stories. In early 60s, when many Tibetan refugees, then no other way to earn except this road worker, then facility very difficult. So then some Tibetan from western part of Tibet, close to Nepal or India, then not yet fully controlled by Chinese forces. So some, with their whole family, came to India. So one lay Tibetan official, government official, lay person, the whole family escaped to India. Then eventually, the official passed away. And his wife, as a mother, and 2-3 children remain. Very young children. So then, I think 62 or 63, around that period. One day, one old Tibetan lady came to see me and explained about her difficulties. And then told me that some Christian missionaries helped her immensely, and also taking care about education of her few children. Then she told me, for this life, now she become Christian. But next life, she will be, she will be Buddhist. So that is clear sign of confusion. Isn't it? So change religion really confused their mind. And one Polish lady, actually, I think Second World War maybe, she came to India and then eventually joined Theosophical Society in Madras. So eventually we become very close friends, and she really helped a lot for young Tibetan sort of education. So one time, she very much fond about Buddhism, and she herself considered as a Buddhist. But at the time of her death, concept of God, Creator, constantly come to her mind. So that also the sign of confusion. So therefore, much safer keep one's own tradition. Meantime, you can learn from other traditions. As far as practice is concerned, there's a practice of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, all these, contentment, self-discipline. These concerns, same. All major religious traditions, same. All different philosophical view are actually meant for promote these practice of these values. So, even the Buddhists, even among Buddhists, different sort of philosophical views there. All these different views taught by Buddha himself. So that means Buddha respect different individuals' view, and according to their mental disposition, Buddha taught different philosophical views. So therefore, we must respect all different religious traditions. The basic sort of practice is same, and immense benefit to millions of people, last 1,000 years, and present also, in future also will be. So we must respect. So learning from each other. And then some sort of individual case, some like among Tibetan, I think 99% are Buddhist, but among Tibetan, some Muslims there, and in early 20th century, some Christians also there. So like that, Buddhist community, but some individual prefer like Islam or Christianity. So the people from Christian countries, some individual may have some sort of special sort of attraction or find more sort of effective Buddhist way of practice. Then okay, they are right to follow Buddhism. Like that. That's my view. Next question? Karsa?
I asked you, what is identity? My identity is my gender, is my country, is my name, is my age, or is my behavior, is my attitude, is my personality? What is my identity? Thank you.
My identity, my name, my culture, my country. What do I call me? What is my identity?
That is a very complicated questions. After all, Buddhism, no concept of self, independent self. A Sanskrit word, Atma. Buddhist viewpoint, the concept of Atma is full of contradiction. So do not accept that. But just opposite, Anathma theory, selflessness in philosophical field. Like that. So in any way, no argument, you are a human being. We are all human beings. No argument. No need, reason to prove we are a human being. Perhaps my long-time friend. See, sometimes we had some sort of, complicated talks. Then sometimes I have to prove this also human being. But too many sort of complicated talks, sometimes like that. So we are human being. We have this mind. We have this desire. Everyone want a happy life. The problem, are you from which country? Kasa? Correct? Iran. Oh. I think modern world, because of rapid development, technology and material, because of the values. So really materials of development give us comfort. So people too much sort of because of attraction. And develop hope, belief. Material development take place, all our problems will solve. That's a mistake. Some my friend, some European, some American, I think a billionaire, very rich, powerful, and because of the because of fame, reputation, good education. But as a person, some of them very, very unhappy person. So material value failed to bring inner peace. Education also failed to bring inner peace. Fear, sense of insecurity. So remain distance. Very difficult to mix with other people. So it is totally wrong, the kind of belief, if material develop, material alone can solve all our problems and bring inner peace. It is wrong. Material development need that give us physical comfort only, not mental comfort. Mental comfort, whether believer or non-believer, we have to take care about our mental state. Like that. Okay. Next question.
First of all, His Holiness, I would like to thank you on my behalf, also for this enlightening lecture. I want to just clear a doubt in my everyday life. See, like I'm doing a research on plants. In forest, I have to go. I have to cut the twigs, branches, and like trees. So, a plant is we considered a living thing. So when I'm cutting them, I know that that part of the plant is dead. So it will be dying soon. So am I doing some kind of violence by cutting those trees?
가서.
Thank you.
Still we have some time. Really? And then? Another, I think, if they okay, I think another, I think 20 minutes. So the microphone, please hold in the center, and those people who have some questions, go in the center. Then we can carry a few more questions. Yes, you hold here. Yes, here. Then all those who say questioners is to come, join in center. Yes, go there.
Sir, I am Shubham from.
No. Already one question, Kasa. As I mentioned earlier, real demarcation, violence, non-violence, is motivation. So, basically, you see, Kasoda, indiscriminately cutting trees. These are a form of violence. But in order to grow forest well, some, you see, the Kasoda, old sort of tree or some rotten, and then remove in order to grow healthy young tree. That's sufficient reasons. Actually, part of preservation of the forest, like that. Every living things, then we will starve, so we will face starvation. Vegetable, not grow within our mouth. Vegetable, we have to pick up, and fruit. So you should use common sense. Next question.
His Holiness, what do you think is the purpose of a human life?
Purpose, I usually state, again, I think, secular basis, I usually say, happy life, joyful life. That's the purpose of our life. Because, simple reason, we have no guarantee about good future, but only we live on hope, better future. Hope means something good, happy life. Any individual, once completely lost hope, that very mental attitude shortens your life. So healthy life, happy life, very much related with full of enthusiastic or optimism. So, we can say, very purpose of our life is happy life. Like that. Next question.
Sir, I am Shubham from Department of Chemistry, and I belong from Bihar, a place nearer to the birthplace of Buddha. And sir, it hurts a lot when we see that Buddhism has almost become extinct from India and even from Bihar and Bodh Gaya. And we have a secular system in our country. Could the country or the state could do something to promote Buddhism in Bihar and at least in Bodh Gaya, so we could have something related to Buddha in Bihar?
Kasa.
Are you saying the state should do something
To revive Buddhism in India. because Buddhists have come down in India.
Yes, sir.
So shall we have more?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, sir. I belong from Bihar.
Oh, this? Okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
Just a question.
should the secular government do something to promote Buddhism in India, in our country?
You mean the
Because
central government? You mean the central government? Or the state?
yeah, the central government.
Yeah.
Although we have a secular system, sir.
Yes, historically, Buddhism is India's religion. And I always describe we Tibetan as a Buddhist. We are chela of Indian gurus. So, may I say so? Sometimes chela's knowledge about Buddhist philosophy sometimes a little better. And also I describe, you see, we are not only chela of ancient Indian guru, but also reliable chela. Reason. Around 7th century and 8th century on, the Nalanda, Buddhism in general, particularly Nalanda tradition, reached Tibet. That also, not just one translator, through translator, not that way, but one of top logician and great Buddhist philosopher and great monk, bhikshu, Shanda Rakshita, one of the top sort of scholar of Nalanda institution. He invited by Tibetan emperor, 8th century. He actually established Tibetan Buddhism. And with help of Guru Pema Sambhava, the giving vows or ordinations and teach logics, teach philosophy, all these he carried. So he himself, top scholars. So therefore, our tradition is really pure lineage of Nalanda traditions. Therefore, I think among all those Buddhist countries like Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, Cambodia, Laos, and China, and Vietnam, and Korea, and Japan, in Tibet, I think we much emphasis study of logic, and then all other subject through logical approach. So when I met some Chinese Buddhist practitioner or Buddhist scholar or Japanese scholars or any other sort of scholars from these countries, of course, I never promote myself as something scholar or something. I never do because of the self-promotion. But reality, I myself compare with those Tibetan scholars, like these two persons and this person. I think they carry study very rigorously. My study as a lazy person, half play, half study. But somehow, even then, my knowledge, compared to these scholars from China, from Japan, from Korea, from other countries, my knowledge, not bad. So I often, you see, telling, when I give teaching, Chinese Buddhist, I always make sort of a salutation to them, because historically, they are senior student of Buddha. We are junior student. So I always make salutation. But at the same time, I jokingly telling them, as far as knowledge is concerned, junior students' knowledge not bad. So we really, last 1,000 years, we really carry the living Nalanda tradition rigorously study, use reasons, logics. So, in Buddhist or Nalanda tradition's own land, last few centuries, a lot of ups and downs. During these period, we kept the knowledge of Nalanda University, we kept intact. So that sufficient reason we are reliable channel. So now, question, your question. I think when I give some teaching or lecture, or particularly one teaching to some Indian Buddhist, I think now something here, the head of the principal, the vice chancellor for our university in Sanat, then he was translator. I gave one Guji Samanja initiation, Abhisheka, to Ubadeva and Tripathi in Chiksuri. So I think 4 or 5 scholars from Varanasi, they asked me that sort of initiation, Guji Samanja initiation. And I made special preparation. Then actual sort of initiation I gave. I very much moved. I really felt the treasure which we learned from Indian gurus. Now I'm handed over to Indian scholars. They also cry. And including you also cry as a translator. And me also cry. Really, very, very moving experience. So the real honor of these sort of, very rich, vast tradition of Nalanda tradition, Nalanda academic sort of institution, is yours, your treasure. We simply kept that. Now I found among Indians, there's more and more people showing interest. So now I sort of suggesting to some people, and also the Buddha Vihara in Patna, when there's some officials, Bihar state government, you see, they consult me about the blueprint. Then the meditation center, a meditation hall. Then I suggested, in order to carry proper Buddhist meditation, meditation should have fuller knowledge about the purpose of meditation, ultimate goal of meditation, then method of the meditation. So without knowledge, fuller knowledge, how can carry Buddhist meditation? And some businessmen or some people who are very much busy life in Bombay or Delhi or the Bangalore, come there in the name of meditation, 1 week, completely relax. That's not meditation. So I told them, so beside meditation room, you should have library, books, and if possible, some lecture, explanation about Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist science, with fuller knowledge that, then meditation. That's a proper way. I told them at that time. Then also, is one time, I visit the Khalsa Timindi. So, Padre Debusa Khalsa. Amavati. And also that area, Nagarjuna, the famous Indian scholar, Buddhist scholar, Nagarjuna Konda. So the state government sort of very much keen to build that area some kind of tourist center. There also and they built this one Buddha statue, and the lower Kasoda, lower ground floor, is some sort of what they want to create some kind of museum. Then there also I suggested they should have a library, right? And occasionally some lecture on Buddhist philosophy. So similarly, I strongly feel these Buddhist centers, Buddhist sacred place, including Buddha Gaya, or actually Buddha Gaya, several years ago, I suggested the managed committee or something, the Buddha Gaya temple. I suggested surrounding that stupa, some quotation of Buddha's own word, and also like Nagarjuna, Arya Sangha, Shandadeva, some sort of quotation. English, Sanskrit, Hindi, English, Chinese, if possible, Tibetan. Should put there. So that you see people, Buddhist pilgrims, once they come there, at least get some idea what is Buddhism. Otherwise, just seeing the Buddha statue. Buddha statue never speak. Just remains as a statue. Occasionally, some kind of light that might become. But otherwise, Buddha himself, silent meditation. So real blessing come from Buddha's teaching, not Buddha's statue. So I suggested. Still, they have not yet practiced that. In Ladakh, I think some Ladakhis here. Toge? Some Ladakhis, in Ladakh, and sort of my place, one few Chaitanyas constructed stupa. So there, according to my sort of what's the wish, they consider sort of people, they really, they put, you see, on they inscribed some sort of shlokas or verses of Buddha's own word, and also Nagarjuna and Shantadeva, like that. So very useful, very useful. So my point is, last year, International Buddhist Conference took place in Delhi. Representative of all Buddhist countries come, and including some countries' real head of the Buddhist community, like Burma. Wonderful sort of monk come. So at that conference, I expressed interest about Buddhism is growing. Different part of the world, even non-Buddhist countries. But meantime, quality of teacher degenerating. That's my concern. I express publicly. Because, you see, among the Buddhist representative from different countries, different costumes, and really very, very strange. So, and the media people, you see, they took these strange sort of costumes or hat like that. So really, I really afraid. They using name of Buddhism quite often. When I met some Buddhists, and some Ladakhis, some Tibetans also, and I asked, you following Buddhism? And then I asked, what is Buddha? What is Dharma? What is Sangha? They say, we don't know. Then one time, in Lahore, Spiti, local people, very faithful Buddhist, I ask same question. Answer, they don't know. Then I ask whether it is differences, or what differences, Buddha and Brahma, Mahabrahma. They say same. So this is clear sign, lack of knowledge about Buddha Dharma. So now in India, I think really worthwhile, make some attempt, not building Buddhist monastery or Buddhist temple, but some learning center, including Buddhism, and also non-Buddhist school of thought, like Sangha philosophy, very sort of rich, very complicated. So these ancient Indian sort of philosophical sort of thinking, philosophical views, in Tibet, we study all these ancient non-Buddhist school of thought. We study that. So special text also there. So eventually, I think we can retranslate into Hindi or Sanskrit, and let us create some institution wherever the Buddhist sites or some other city, like Jain sites. We must sort of make effort because of the education about these rich Indian ancient thought. That I really feel. Then, whether follow Buddhism or other religion, that is up to individual. We should make available the information or the real sort of philosophical views about these different traditions. I think it is very, very essential. Yes? Melvin.
Anshul from St. Stephen's College. What do you think is the solution of ego and envy in how we tackle it in daily lives?
Ego and envy, yes. What? Ego and envy. Yes.
Daily life, how do we conquer that?
So my question is related to him.
Wait. If we have sort of sufficient sort of knowledge, what usefulness about envy? No useful. Harm. Envy, too much. You lose your sleep. You lose your sort of appetite. What benefit? And your envy never harm that person. If you really want to hit that person without emotion, study, analyze what is their weak point, then hit on that weak point. That's the proper way. Too much anger, envy, destroy your sort of the intelligence, which can objectively look the reality. So thinking this line, then all these destructive emotions are really useless. It is part of our mind, part of our emotion, but useless. So that way. And anger, envy will not go away through prayer. I am Buddhist. If pray to Buddha, please purify my mind. Now I think nearly 70-year-old. So several decades I pray to Buddha. It never go away. So only through my own practice, my own analytical meditation, what use envy, anger, fear? I realize no use, just to destroy my own peace of mind, never harm the person whom we feel little negative thing. Like that. So these emotions, destructive emotions, are really self-destruction. Like that. Ego, there are two kinds of ego. Ego, in the sense, strong sense of strong self. That kind of ego is necessary in order to build determination, in order to build infinite altruism, you have to crush your self-centered attitude. In order to crush that, you need self-confidence. For that, you need sense of strong self. But another kind of ego, self-centered, think just selfish way. Think yourself. No hesitate, exploit other, harm other. That kind of ego is negative. So the first positive ego, very much linked with wisdom, human wisdom. Animal cannot do that. Only we, human being, can do that. The second type of harmful ego is even animal also have that. Mainly biological factor. But we, human being, with help of intelligence, marvelous human intelligence, we can change certain emotion due to biological factor can change. That's, I think, greatness of human being. I really feel that. Yes, next question.
Namaskar. His Holiness, youth in India has a lot of power and enthusiasm, but sometimes we are not supported by the system. Can you please help and guide us so that we can not disrespect the system and still achieve our goal? And also, His Holiness, sometimes heart and mind differs in views. How to connect it? How to get through our goals? Thank you.
Kasa. What?
Second question is sometimes the heart says something and the mind says something else. The heart says something, the mind says something else. So how do we bring those in harmony? Which means one part of the mind says something, another part of the mind, conscious says something.
Yes. Emotion, there are two types of emotions, or two categories of emotions. According my discussion with late Verala, we agree even Buddha's mind, there are emotions. Like infinite compassion is also kind of emotion. So emotion, there are two types. One emotion, not a biological factor, but due to effort, due to reasoning, and familiarize. Generally, these kind of emotions are positive. Never go against warm-heartedness and that sort of emotion through use human intelligence, reasons. That always go very well. Then another sort of category of emotion, mainly biological, no reason. So there, the intelligence usually sees some reasons. So intelligence and that heart emotion sometimes go contradict. Yes, like that. Next question.
His Holiness, I think this generation we are very much confused because we have so many options open to us, so many opportunities every day, and no one really tells us for sure that this is right and this is wrong. Nobody really tells us that these days because everything is perception. It's like my perception might be different. I think something is right, someone else thinks no, that's not. And when religion tells us that this is right and this is wrong, it conflicts with our scientific thinking and our analytical thinking. So we are left even the more confused. I mean, nobody really tells us what's right, what's wrong, and religion conflicts with our sensible, logical thinking. So what should we do for that?
If you are a believer, according theistic, then you should listen so to say, God's word. If you are a follower of non-theistic, like Buddhist, then Buddha stated very clearly, you are your own master. So ultimately, your own judgment, calmly, unbiasedly, objectively, analyze your own intelligence and experiment, then decide. And I think a non-believer, also I think that's the way, should not let under too much influence of emotions. Must analyze. So that's my answer. Okay, next question.
My pranams, His Holiness. I'm Siddharth Fuller from Faculty of Law. I'm pursuing LLM. His Holiness, my question is it possible for an atheist to have a living and speaking conscience?
Kasha. What?
Is it possible for an atheist who doesn't believe in God
Yes.
to have a living conscience? To have a conscience?
Yes, from the Buddhist viewpoint, yes, we have. Actually, 이제 없으면 어떻게 한다? 좀 전에 결혼도 안 하면서 대로 숨어서 가. So Buddha stated to his follower, he mentioned, you should not accept my teaching out of devotion, but rather through your own investigation and analyze and experiment. So that's a very scientific way. So ultimately, our intelligence is the main decision maker. Right. Intelligence and perhaps in some extent our experience. Like that. Yes, next question.
Tempa has collected the questions. We have one final question, sir. And the question comes from Sapna. Can you hear me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
One final question. So I think we are working an honorary professor just too hard. So one final question from Sapna, who asks, how can one love anything without having attachment for it? How can one love anything without having attachment for it?
Good question. Here, love, which very much mixed with attachment. That love is always biased. So, the genuine love, which can extend to entire sentient being, and particularly your enemy, that kind of love can develop through training, through reasons. Sorry, one Tibetan medicine. About 4 o'clock. So, time for taking medicine. I must tell you, this medicine, if something goes wrong seriously, and taking medicine, not that. Many Tibetan medicine actually making more balance your the different elements. So these are as a preventive measure. So don't consider, oh, Dalai Lama, even while talking, is taking Tibetan medicine. I think his health is very bad. Don't say that. Don't think that way. So because our usual sort of love, that's mainly biological and also oriented other sort of attitude. For example, your loved one. Today, very much sort of attachment. Due to some change of their attitude, next month you really feel hatred, anger. So that compassion is very much mixed with attachment. Any attachment oriented their attitude. Now, that kind of attachment must reduce in order to develop unbiased compassion. Biased compassion is actually obstacle of unbiased, infinite compassion. So, for practice of compassion, first, practice of detachment towards your family member or your friend, detach, and also your enemy side. Also, you see, too much sort of strong feeling, negative feeling, reduce, equal. Then develop sense of well-being or compassion without attachment. That oriented not their attitude, but their being, as a sentient being, as a human being. They also, your enemy also sentient human being, sentient being, want happiness, do not want suffering, also have every right to overcome suffering. So develop sense of concern of their well-being. That's unbiased, genuine compassion. So, real, infinite, unbiased compassion cannot go with attachment. So, we must reduce attachment. Clear? So, two levels of compassion. One, biological factor. Here, attachment, always there. That must reduce. Then, another attachment, or another sort of compassion, build on reasons through training of mind. That's unbiased. That's a genuine compassion. Like that.
Thank you, Your Holiness. I'm sure His Holiness will bless us again soon and the years to come so that we continue to benefit from His presence and His wisdom. May I now request Professor Meenakshi Thapun, who's the coordinator for the Kothari Center for Ethics, Science and Education and who's worked very hard to bring this lecture to fruition, to offer a small token of gratitude and love on behalf of our university to His Holiness.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And on all your behalf, and on behalf of the Vice Chancellor who had to attend an important meeting and therefore could not be here, I thank His Holiness, wish him the best of health, and wish that he keeps coming to bless us year after year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yada.